and I want to make sure everything's cool before they get here, and I've been working a lot, and I've been stressed, and all of this bullshit that doesn't even matter. What actually matters is the fact that I'm gonna open up a wine bottle right now. But I wanted to talk a little bit about wine world as it relates to beer, because a lot of times we're kind of pitted against each other, which is a little funny, because it's like a whole different world of understanding. Often when I explain beer to people, I try and put it in the context that it's a lot more like food versus something like wine. Wine is closer to liquor in the way that it goes into your like tasting palate, and then the way that it's created. In that, I was never really a wine person. Migraines run in my family, and so sulfur, which is an additive in wine that helps stabilize and adjust the flavors, can really bring on some bad freaking headaches. So I've never been a big wine person. I've also always been a fan of bubbles. I like the bubbles. That's what pushes flavor through, and so I've always been more of a beer lady. For those reasons. But then I went to Beaujolais, which is a region in France, to do the vendange with a friend of mine who is a natural wine writer. And if you haven't checked out that video that I did about le vendange, you should check it out, because I'm actually really proud of it. That video, I think, is one of my best ones. I think it's just put together really clean and concise, and it really explains what natural wine is in that particular area. The thing in France as well, which is funny because, you know, I live in this like backwards country, is that wine is really cheap, but beer is really expensive. So like this Cuvée du Ranc back here, that was like 10 euros, and this is actually really expensive wine, really expensive. It was like 15 euros, which here we usually don't spend more than like 3 euros for a bottle of wine. The thing is, natural wine, natural is much like the term craft, right? Doesn't really make any sense or mean much of anything. It's not organic. It just kind of means that it was made by more passionate people, I guess, you know, made in a style that, I mean, how do we define craft, right? Good Lord. Fucking, really? You know, have we talked about how I'm cursed making videos? I blame you guys every time I go to that could be a bad sign though if the cork is dry, but it doesn't actually look like the wine is infected. That could just be because I'm like chatting and trying to open up a wine bottle. You know how it is. Let's just pull that little buddy out. It's not. It can't happen. It can't happen that I get infected bottles of wine when I film. I think honestly, this is not real. So the thing is that the wine cork is dry, which is number one. That's a bad sign, because it means that there might be. I'm not a wine specialist, but generally, it means that there could have been air circulating through the bottle, which would dry out the cork. And if air is circulating, then bacteria can get in and infect it. So like one of the main nemesises of natural wine is Brettanomyces. So this might be infected and still delicious to my palate because hey, Brettanomyces. But the thing is that it's got a much more sour note on it than it should. Funky, cave dry, which also, again, natural wine like craft, it can be very variable, and it often has a little bit of bubbles to it. That's also one of the things that I like about natural wine. It's often very pétillant, but you have to understand that because it's this kind of a product that is variable, they, so like if you watch the vendange video, that's us picking all the grapes. They don't squish the grapes, they intentionally want them to be whole. They put them in a fermenter and they push air. They're always putting, I think it's like carbon dioxide. They put this one air through. It's squished. They want them to stay around so that the wine itself is actually fermenting in the grape. And then it kind of maturates down. And what you get is this delicious, sometimes pétillant product that I'm sort of obsessed with. Not gonna lie. Oh no, that's still, it's got like a vinegar, a little light vinegar note to it that I don't think is appropriate. And a little bit of alcohol, and again, that like kind of funky cave rocks thing going on. As it opens up a little bit, the vinegar is going away, but it still kind of just smells like a little bit like wet dirt that you smell in a cave. I don't know many times you guys have been in caves? That's a French word for like cellar as well, by the way. So if a French person says, hey, do you want to get in my cave? That's not like they're trying to kill you. It just means they're cellar, which is usually where the good stuff is. Alright, well, let's see how this goes. So yeah, I mean, agitation for wine in general is good because it doesn't have bubbles to push through the aroma, and aroma, as we know, is like it's a huge part of your perception. It's got some really interesting base fruit notes. So it's really sticky on the palate, juicy. It's like blackberries, cherries. There's no bitterness. There's not a lot of farminess to it. It's got a minerality. And I definitely wouldn't say it's sweet because it's dry. But it's at the same time, it's reminiscent of jam. Yeah, I think when this opens up a little bit, it's going to be a little bit more fun, but right now it's just something I could just chug this. Like, it doesn't have a whole heap of flavor to it. I might even just walk this back down to the bottle shop and see if that's the tasting notes that I should be getting out of it, because I believe in conversation. I'm not going to go back and be like, I fucking hate this. But if I just ask, like, is this what it's supposed to taste like? We'll see. Maybe they'll be nice and we can have a conversation about it. I think people enjoy discussing their craft when people are honest and open and all that fun stuff. So I'm gonna go be a geek and continue to lift my spirits. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out and supporting me, and your comments and feedback and things like that are really they're really special to me, and I am just blessed to be part of this community. Thank you again for watching. I love you dearly. Remember, taste is always relevant. Don't have bad taste in things, huh? So, share, like, subscribe, get out there, be nice, be honest. Remember to don't inhale deeply when tasting things, little short breaths, and keep your mouth open. Huh? Little tasting tips. Okay, I'll see you on vlog.